Welcome back to Homeschool 101 and Happy New Year. Today is the first Monday of the year and we were going to try and get back on track with our normal school schedule. And so far I'm failing miserably, but I had everything set out on the counter this morning, including a cat. And so I wanted to just jump on really quickly and share with you what we're using for kind of the second semester of our school year this year. So I'm just gonna really quickly, I'm not gonna do flip throughs and stuff, but I just wanna show you what we're using for second semester this year. If you have any questions or wanna see more information on a specific curriculum, put your questions down in the comments and I will answer them there, or if it needs another video, we can add that to our list of things to do. So really quickly, the main curriculum that we are using this year all together, my kids are 11, 8, 6, and 3. So my 3-year-old just kind of tags along as he sees fit, but my older 3 are all school age. We are using Gather Round for our main curriculum. We are going to be finishing up our American History mini unit. We actually had started this clear back in November. We got part of the way through it and then we took a pretty long break this year. We did a Thanksgiving unit from Campfire Curriculums, which we're going to be doing more with them this spring as well. And then we spent most of the month of December doing the Christmas unit from Gather Round. So we're just going to pick back up with this, finish this, and then figure out what we're going to move on to next. So that's the main thing that we do all together every day. Then each of my kids does math independently. My 11-year-old is using Christian Light Education. He's just getting ready to start his next book, which was good timing. Both of my girls use math from The Good and the Beautiful. This is my older daughter's set. All of her stuff fits in here. I have some organizational videos on how we do all of this, but her math is all in here. And she is using The Good and the Beautiful Math Level 1. They are coming out with a new math course starting in the spring or over the summer, and I'm super excited to see what they're going to be doing with that. That's what she's working on for her math. And then my kindergarten age daughter is working through Math Level K. And all of her stuff fits in her own bin, her own folder. So it's super easy for the girls when it's time to do math to just grab their folders, take them to wherever we're working, and then everything fits in here super nicely. Then my 11-year-old is also working through All About Spelling. We're just doing it mostly as a review. He doesn't probably really need it, but I felt like we needed to kind of re-review some of the levels that we've already done and just really cement some of those phonics rules. As his reading skills have improved, those rules make a lot more sense to go back and review them. When he was learning to read and learning to spell and write and stuff all at the same time, I felt like it was kind of just a lot all at once. So to go back and review the rules, we can go through them really quickly, and then it really seems to be cementing and sticking better because he sees them and uses them more frequently, and he's thinking less about his reading and writing, and then he can focus a little more on those spelling rules. So we're reviewing levels, and we're actually working on level 3 right now. And then he is also this year doing Fix-It Grammar. He just does this a couple of days a week. Then my 8-year-old is also working through Explode the Code. We're really working on phonics skills with her and kind of learning to read stuff. So she's working on Explode the Code. She's almost done with book 1, and then we'll move on to book 2. The other thing that she's doing with reading that we both really love is Dash Into Reading. There are 3 sets of these books. She's still working through set 1. I have the other 2 sets ready to go when we get to that point. Amelia Murdoch is the author. She has an awesome Instagram and she has a Facebook page and all of that kind of stuff. She wrote these books as a really easy introduction into learning to read. They also come with some super cute activities. We have ours in a binder, and there's different things that you can do. There's different searches. I just put them all in page protectors because my daughter will sometimes go back and review them. Little games and things that you can play to reinforce the phonics that they're learning in that particular book. So she is working on those things as well. They also have a super cute handwriting curriculum. This is new within the last couple of months. I think October or November of 2020 is when she released this. I bought the version that I could print at home. I printed this for my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old as review practice for my 8-year-old, and then obviously as kind of introductory practice for my 5-year-old. So they're both working through the Dash into Reading handwriting as well. Dash into Learning handwriting as well. Then my 5-year-old is also doing Explode the Code. She's working through the ABC, Get Ready, Get Set, Go for the Code books. These have been great for her as well and really good extra practice. So those are some of the extra things that my school age kids are doing. With my 3-year-old and then my 6-year-old kind of tags along. It's good review for her and it's good introduction for my 3-year-old. I do a little bit of preschool-ish stuff with them every day. And I keep all of my preschool stuff in this little Molly Ollie tote, which is super nice because then wherever we're working on it, one of them can just go and grab it and bring it to wherever we're working, and all of their stuff is in here. So every day we do our little calendar time activities, which we could only find October, so I need to find and update my calendar. But we go through the days of the week, the months, and then we go through the weather, and then we talk about a different shape every week or so, depending on my 3-year-old. When he gets it, we kind of move on to the next shape. Then they also work through this preschool workbook, which is by Arrows and Applesauce. I can put a link to her shop. She actually just opened a new shop. I've gotten her stuff on Etsy before, and she made this little worksheet preschool workbook. We do 1 page a day, and it goes through the alphabet, and you focus on different, here you counted the shapes, and then you draw the arrows. There's different sticker activities. My kids love stickers, especially my 2 younger ones. You put 2 stickers in the 2 circle, and you put 3 stickers in the 3 square. So they really, really like that kind of stuff. This has been a really gentle introduction for my 3-year-old. If he does it perfectly, great. If he just scribbles all over it, that's fine too. I'm not super worried about it. But it's also been a really good review for my 6-year-old, just to go through it and review her letter shapes, and she's doing a really nice job with it. So they work through their preschool journal, and then we usually work on flashcards. We usually pick a couple of sets a day, probably 2. I usually let them each pick 1. We work through alphabet. We just flip through and say the letters. It's just good recognition for my 3-year-old. I have a number set. This goes 1 through 20. We practice colors. Again, my 3-year-old is getting really good just from going through them all the time. And then over here we have shapes. And so these little shapes match the shapes that are on our calendar time. Then I usually keep a couple of extra, there's my months, I found them, so I have to put January on. I usually keep a couple of extra things in here for my 3-year-old, because when we get done with this stuff, then I can kind of move to the more independent work with my 6-year-old. So I usually have some sort of number cards in here. These are little Christmas trees, and then he was counting out my little snowman erasers and putting them on the trees. So I usually have something extra for him to do in here that he can just kind of work quietly while I can get started working with her. So that is pretty much our curriculum setup that we're going to be using for the spring. Not much has changed from where we started in the fall. I would like to simplify to a place where we can pretty much just use gather around and just add math, but we're not there yet. I'm working on it, and I'm working to kind of get to that place where it's simple. But these things, Explode the Code, the handwriting, that stuff is pretty independent. I can have the girls work on a page while I'm getting things ready or making lunch, and they can sit up here at the island and work on those things independently. And I feel like they just need the practice right now and the extra reinforcement. So not a lot has changed for us. We're just kind of working on getting back into that routine. We usually take a pretty long break in December, pretty much from Thanksgiving to New Year's, just because we need the time. Usually my husband's off work for a couple of weeks, and so we can just get things done around Christmas that we want to do, and we just kind of need that break. So I hope that you will join us this year for some more homeschool and curriculum planning. We're going to be adding in some other things this year. Like I said, nothing has changed a lot on the curriculum front, so there's not a lot of stuff that I'm going to be switching to be able to kind of tell you and review. But we want to incorporate some of those other aspects of planning, whether it's meal planning, some home organization and simplifying tips, because all of those things in your home, all of those other things have to happen among homeschooling and before or after, however that works for your family. And those are things that I know people finally figure out, okay, I have curriculum, but then how do I make dinner and how do I make lunch and how do I get all these other things done? So we are going to be adding in some of that kind of stuff this year. And so hopefully we can share how to help in your homeschool and also how to help in your home in general. So I really appreciate you guys being here and sticking around. Hopefully we'll have some fun things coming that will be interesting to you. We might have some fun personal care things coming as well. Just lots of things in the pipeline and just kind of see where everything fits this year. So I hope you are excited to start 2021 and that you will stick around and join us. If you have questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will try and answer them either in the comments or if we need to do another video, we can do that. So thank you so much for watching. Happy homeschooling.